Parkinson's disease. It's the most common neurodegenerative disease in the world, second only to Alzheimer's. You must have heard the term at least once in your life, and it probably makes you think of the associated symptoms, such as having poor balance, slow movements, or trembling. By these characteristics, we try to imagine what it would be like to live with Parkinson's, but do we actually understand the daily life of a Parkinson's disease patient? For those of us who don't suffer from the disease or have a loved one who does, likely not. Daily tasks such as completing bathroom activities, getting dressed, eating and preparing food are things we take for granted because it doesn't require the greatest effort. But this isn't the case for those with Parkinson's. Brushing your teeth is a fairly easy thing to do with a steady arm, but those with Parkinson's disease have tremors and rigidity in their limbs that makes this quite the difficult task. Or take bathing. We all do it because we need to stay clean. However, this task has its extra challenges for those with Parkinson's. Many times, handrails need to be installed to help those with Parkinson's enter and exit the bathtub to prevent falling due to symptoms. Or even take using the toilet. Using the toilet means having a set schedule, when to consume fluids and when to relieve yourself if you have Parkinson's. This is no spontaneous thing like many of us have been used to our whole lives. As you can see from these examples alone, life is far from normal for many with Parkinson's disease, and they need accommodations for what were once menial tasks due to their symptoms. Sharon, Luca, Carrie. These are the names of 3 people who live with Parkinson's disease. Sharon first started exhibiting symptoms in 2007 and was diagnosed right after. Luca started showing signs in 2004 and Carrie in 2013. What's interesting is Luca's story with Parkinson's disease specifically. Before the disease, he was highly active in the fitness world and was a practitioner in jiu-jitsu, but in the end ended up developing Parkinson's. Amazingly, he was still able to continue his work with jiu-jitsu even after living with Parkinson's for 16 years, and he attributes the feat to remaining active his whole life. After receiving treatment for her breast cancer, Sharon was assigned to a movement disorder specialist and practiced yoga. Meanwhile, Carrie came up with her own fitness plan, doing her own research. She went to a gym and rode a bike, which she claims improved her tremors. Needless to say, these 3 have felt better mentally and physically after sessions of exercise, which begs the question, what exactly is the effect of exercise on Parkinson's disease? In this video, we will explain how Parkinson's disease works in the brain and how physical exercise works to regulate this and alleviate Parkinson's symptoms. We propose exercise as a great avenue for improving the quality of life for those suffering from Parkinson's symptoms. No matter your age or stage of Parkinson's disease, there are excellent exercise options out there waiting for you, some of which we'll highlight for you at the end of this video. One of the hardest things about Parkinson's disease is that every person who gets it embarks on their own unique journey, each individual having their own mix of symptoms, with no standard trajectory or path of progression for the disease. If this is the case, what do Parkinson's disease patients have in common? To answer this question, let's take a look at the brain. As we take a look into the neurobiology of Parkinson's disease, there are some important keywords to understand. Firstly, neurotransmitters are chemical messengers in the body, responsible for carrying signals from one neuron to another. These are vital for the function and survival of the entire brain, body, and nervous system. One key neurotransmitter we'll be discussing is dopamine. This plays an important role in controlling the balance of bodily movements and a role in the regulation of motivation and emotion or mood. Some brain areas we'll be discussing are the basal ganglia, which functions to facilitate the initiation of voluntary movement, the substantia nigra, which is the brain region critical for the production of dopamine, affecting other brain areas responsible for control of movement, cognitive functioning, and regulation of emotion and motivation. And then there will be the striatum. This receives input from the substantia nigra, and firing of striatal neurons is associated with the occurrence of movement. Now that we've covered some keywords associated with the neurobiology of Parkinson's, let's see what's going on in the brain. Parkinson's disease affects 1 to 2% of people 65 and older and 4 to 5% of those 85 and older worldwide. The risk of developing Parkinson's disease increases with age. This is important as the global population is getting older, especially here in Canada. With an aging population and people living to older ages, more and more people are going to be suffering from neurodegenerative diseases such as Parkinson's in the near future. So it's important to take a minute to understand what exactly is going on in the brains of these individuals and what treatment options are available. Parkinson's disease is considered a neurodegenerative disease because it involves the degeneration and death of neurons. As we touched on earlier, characteristic symptoms of Parkinson's are initially movement-related and generally involve involuntary hand and feet tremors, bradykinesia, or the slowness of movement, muscle rigidity, and postural impairment. Parkinson's patients also experience non-motor symptoms like cognitive impairments, such as attention and memory deficits, or psychiatric symptoms such as alterations in mood that can lead to depression. The causes of Parkinson's are not fully understood, but a combination of genetic and environmental factors are involved. Now, it is the neurotransmitter known as dopamine that controls balance of bodily movements. Dopamine has been found to be responsible for the regulation of the excitability of striatal neurons, inhibiting their activity. However, in Parkinson's disease, dopaminergic neurons in the substantia nigra of the basal ganglia degenerate, causing dopamine levels in the striatum to decrease, causing overactivity of these striatal neurons. This is the cause for the characteristic motor deficits seen in Parkinson's disease. These overt motor symptoms typically don't occur until 70% or more of striatal dopamine is lost. The substantia nigra has high numbers of dopamine neurons, but by the end stages of Parkinson's, patients have often lost more than half of their dopamine neurons in the region. Currently, the most common treatment for Parkinson's involves an attempt to restore depleted dopamine levels in the basal ganglia. Levodopa, herein referred to as L-Dopa, is one. L-Dopa is a drug that can cross the blood-brain barrier and is used by the brain to synthesize dopamine. This can lead to improvements of motor symptoms in Parkinson's. However, L-Dopa does not halt the neurodegeneration that occurs. And long-term use of L-Dopa has been found to cause a number of side effects, including movement-related problems. So, there is no cure for the disease as of right now, and other treatments are being actively researched. One promising alternative treatment comes in the form of physical exercise. Physical exercise has been shown to benefit people of all ages, as it can improve muscle function, cognitive ability, and stimulate neurotransmitter release, such as for neurotransmitters like dopamine. Exercise is known to directly influence the central dopaminergic tract that we've been discussing, that is implicated in Parkinson's. Previous studies have found that moderate to intense exercise is associated with an increase in the enzyme that synthesizes dopamine, and it's thought that the synthesis of dopamine modulates neurogenesis in the central dopaminergic tract, leading to the creation and proliferation of dopamine neurons in the substantia nigra, which directly counteracts what happens during Parkinson's disease degeneration. As such, while research on whether or not exercise slows the progression of Parkinson's is still ongoing, what is known is that regular exercise can work to alleviate symptoms of Parkinson's and improve quality of life. Beyond just the neurobiological benefits that occur, exercise is a great avenue to find a community engagement through, be it with physiotherapists or fellow Parkinson's disease patients or anyone in between. There's a supportive community out there to help Parkinson's patients improve their quality of life. For example, our community partner on this project, PACE, or the Physical Activity Center of Excellence at McMaster University, is a team of researchers, staff, and students who are committed to studying and improving both the health and overall well-being of older adults, in specific, those living with chronic diseases and disabilities such as Parkinson's. PACE members operate out of a specialized exercise and rehabilitation center at McMaster University and currently offer 5 research-based exercise programs for seniors that help individuals to reach their health and wellness goals. Now, we'll leave you off with our favorite exercises that we found for Parkinson's patients of all different stages of progression in the disease. There are many exercises that are beneficial for Parkinson's disease patients. Aerobic exercises have been found to be more beneficial than anaerobic in alleviating symptoms, but that doesn't mean anaerobic exercise is not a good option. All exercise can be good to ease symptoms, and being active has countless benefits beyond its interaction with Parkinson's disease. Plus, it can get you engaged in the community, enhance your social life by working out with friends and others. Now, here are some exercises we recommend for those with Parkinson's. For low-restriction patients who still have some mobility, we suggest activities such as jogging or running, swimming, Zumba, which is quite fun, biking, or yoga. For those with medium restriction and medium mobility, we suggest light swimming, light resistance training, and stretching exercises. And for those with low mobility, we suggest simple, small walking exercises, light stretching, shallow water aerobics, Tai Chi, or weight shifting and leaning exercises. For those with the most severe symptoms of Parkinson's disease, physiotherapists may recommend the use of light gait, which is a suspension system that supports posture and weight-bearing assistance during therapeutic exercises. Some exercises can also be assigned by physiotherapists to prevent falls, like step saving. Taking a step forward or sideways is a saving step when you're tripping or falling over to regain balance, and can be practiced in patients with high fall risks. Despite all of the exercises that have positive effects on Parkinson's symptoms, there is no specific plan that can be used for everyone. The type of exercise and intensity depends on the symptoms and challenges you face as an individual. Pushing yourself to the limit immediately will only spell trouble. It's best to start slow and gradually increase intensity and duration. Balance is severely affected in Parkinson's disease, so please be patient and, most importantly, be safe. If you feel that you need something to hold on to for balance, it's much better to use a little support than to fall over and injure yourself. If you have any questions on any of the exercises we recommended or are interested in exercise plans, it's best to get in touch with your physiotherapist to design a plan that's best suited for you. Despite the wide range of challenges those with Parkinson's disease may suffer through, there's always hope for attaining and maintaining a better quality of life. Any form of exercise is better for you than being inactive, no matter your age. We challenge anyone watching this video to go out and find the exercise regime that best suits you, and go give it a try. We promise you won't regret it. Thank you, and we hope that you learned something today on Parkinson's disease and the effects of exercise.